Welcome to the How of Business with your host, Henry Lopez, the podcast that helps you start, run, and grow your small business. And now, here is your host.
Welcome to this episode of the How of Business. This is Henry Lopez. My guest today is Aleric Heck. Aleric, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited.
Yeah, looking forward to this topic. Not a topic we've covered ever before on the show after 480 so episodes. So excited to get knowledge here. I love what Aleric has to share on this and his inspirational story. So we're going to talk about his entrepreneurial journey, a young man relative to me who has achieved a tremendous amount in business, and in particular in teaching people how to use YouTube ads to grow a small business. So he's going to share some of those insights as well as point us to resources that he has to offer that can help us learn how to use YouTube to grow a small business. If you want to receive more information about the How of Business, including the show notes page for this episode and how you can continue supporting my show and get discounts to my workshops, to my monthly group coaching session through a Patreon membership, just visit thehowofbusiness.com. Also, wherever you're listening to this episode, if you'll please subscribe, that way you don't miss any subsequent episodes. I release an episode every Monday morning. So let me tell you a little bit more about Aleric. Aleric is a YouTube ads expert and the founder of AdOutreach. AdOutreach.com is where you can find all about it. He has been on YouTube for over 12 years, which once you see him and you realize how young he is, this is a long time. And we're going to talk about that very interesting journey. And he grew a YouTube channel to over 500,000 subscribers. Over the last 7 years, Aleric has taught thousands of other entrepreneurs and business owners how to grow and scale their business using laser-targeted YouTube ads. Collectively, Aleric has helped his clients generate over $200 million in sales from YouTube ads and has scaled his own business to over 8 figures. Aleric lives in Austin, Texas. And so once again, Aleric Heck, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on, Henry. I'm excited to dive in.
Yep, absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time and the enthusiasm, and it's going to be a lot of sharing here. So I want to start with the journey. As you've shared online and as I was doing the research, you started doing this early on in high school, if I got it right. Is that true? Is that correct?
Yeah. So actually, even just slightly before high school, which is kind of funny too. I started in middle school technically, but high school is when it really started to take off. So that's when I got my first 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and got that 100,000 subscriber plaque, and it really started to gain momentum. So I started posting for fun a little bit before that when I was even younger, but then in high school is when it really started to take off.
Do I remember correctly some story about your dad gave you a laptop but said you got to do something with it, or what's the story? I can't remember correctly.
Yeah. So he gave me it was the iPod. So it was a Christmas gift. It was the iPod Touch. And it's actually kind of funny because here's the story. So basically, I got the iPod Touch, and my parents didn't know that had the ability to play like these little video games on it, because growing up, I wasn't really, I didn't have any video game consoles. I was really encouraged to kind of go outside, and also, when I was doing things on the computer, have to be educational, right? So I did learn how to, edit. I had the, very early Adobe kind of creative suite. That was also like, I think, a birthday gift that would load up into my, computer, and I would be editing videos with friends and things like that. But I wasn't really playing, video games or anything like that. And they kind of had growing up, a kind of a strict no video game policy. And so when I got the iPod Touch, this was the first generation iPod Touch, right? And it was exactly like, what I wanted. I think it was either Christmas or birthday, or it might have been like a combined gift. I don't know. But basically, I got this gift when I was a kid. I was 12 years old, and I had this little iPod Touch, and it had video games on it. And I remember my dad finding out, and he's like, "You better." He's like, well, wait a second. This has video games. And I said, well, yeah, I'm going to record videos and show like my recommendations and things like that. And he's like, well, you better do something creative with it. And so that was kind of where my original YouTube channel, AppFind, came from. Is I was showcasing the best mobile apps, the best mobile games, teaching people how to use their iPhone, what apps they should download. And it was kind of my way to turn something into something more creative And that's kind of the origin story. I don't always tell that version of it, but it's kind of funny.
No,
you
fantastic.
Think also back too, it's like when you're a kid, you get these different rules and stuff, but I'm really, grateful to my parents and how they raised me and really taught me to be creative and, not just consume and do things like play games, but actually to go and be creative and do new things.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Great motivation there. Did you at that point look at the monetization side of that, or that just came and then opened your eyes to that part of it?
So as it started to take off and I got more and more subscribers and viewers, that's when I realized that this is, something that could actually be more than just me posting videos. At the time when I was posting videos on YouTube, because I signed up, I think now over 13, pushing on 14 years ago, it was like in 2009, I was posting videos. And prior to that, you'd have to upload videos to different sites and they might get taken down or you had to pay for hosting. So I was just excited to be able to upload the videos on YouTube and have people watch it. But then I applied for the partner program when I found out about that, its existence. And I applied, I think 4 different times. And it was the 4th time that I actually got accepted. And that's when I started making money from my YouTube channel.
I see.
And I started making, more and more income from the channel. And I remember I was in my sophomore year of high school and I had just hit 100,000 subscribers and I was making about $60,000 a year from YouTube ad revenue. And I was telling a friend about it and I was in a history class or whatever. And the teacher came over and he said, "There's no way you're making that much." And I said, well, I am. And I show the stats. I just pull up the stats. And I remember him saying that, it's more than I make. And that's when I realized that I had something, that was pretty special.
So is it at that point that you think, I'm going to make a business out of this, and related to that, were there entrepreneurial influences in your life, or what were you thinking you would do with this knowledge and skill that you had developed?
So I always had that kind of entrepreneurial bug. I had the classic lemonade stand even before the YouTube channel. So that was kind of like 8, 9, 10, 11, like when I was growing up as a younger, kid, I was doing the lemonade stand and I kind of learned early on, like profit, my parents, were like, all right, well, this is the amount that's coming out for the expenses. And I learned like the difference, right, with revenue and profit and all of that. So I had an early experience with entrepreneurship. My parents, aren't entrepreneurs, but they were very encouraging of me and, kind of building this type of thing. And so what I was able to do was really see the potential, but also learn as I went. So I would just kind of figured out what opportunities were. So one big opportunity that I figured out how to tap into after I was monetizing with YouTube ads is I realized I was getting at one point 50 to 100 inbound messages, emails every single day from app developers that wanted to feature their app on the channel. Because the channel was just growing really fast. It became the largest app review channel. There were definitely bigger tech channels, but in terms of a channel that kind of focused on app reviews, then also teaching, like that type of thing.
And do you think you were also speaking to a particular niche in the market? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And app enthusiasts. So essentially, even though those videos might not get as many views as what many people see as like the mainstream, like tech,
right. But very engaged users, very loyal users. Yeah,
exactly. If I said to download this app or to get this particular thing, then they did. And then the word spread. So it's, hey, you could pay, $500 to AppFind and get, thousands of downloads. And it was a really good deal for these app developers. And it was a great deal for me. And it was a win-win. And I was also making revenue on that, and also making the ad revenue, and then eventually affiliate revenue too. So I set up several affiliate partnerships. But essentially, I think the real business element that I was able to learn was, how do I take these people asking for their app to be featured and turn them into a paid placement, and do it in a way that's congruent, that doesn't feel like it's pushing people, but also I can't say yes to everything for free, right? I need to, and so it was figuring out a series of emails and not really even following any strategy, just doing it on my own, right? Because I think that there's definitely more resources for this like nowadays, but back then, influencer wasn't even really a word. It was just, you were creating content and you had a YouTube channel, and and they were reaching out. And so I even had many developers who like their first sponsorship was sponsoring the AppFind channel. Maybe they were doing ads and other things prior to that. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you addressed that, because I got to think that's such a delicate thing to maintain your integrity. And even at that age, you realized that, because your site could have very easily, the loyalty that you had developed could have very easily crumbled if you just turned into a commercial machine, right? So that would not have lasted. You knew that could be the exposure, even though people were throwing money at you to promote their app.
Exactly. And that was something I was very particular and focused on. And over time, to be completely honest, I do feel a few years ago, after I shifted focus away from the channel, that kind of did happen to a degree. And only now over the last year have we really been, fixing that and recovering from that. Because when I kind of shifted focus, obviously my main business, AdOutreach, scaling up to 8 figures, getting on the Inc. list, that really took a lot of my focus and attention. And as that happened, I hired people and I handed things off. But at the same time, though, I don't have regrets, because I needed to focus on what I was focusing on. Yep. And also, I didn't want to just turn the channel off, because it had an ability to continue to run and help people. And so I think we just didn't make the best hires at that point. But about a year ago, I actually hired somebody that has been, a friend for quite some time in the content space. Justin, who now runs all the AppFind content, and we're rebuilding that strong, trust with the audience that they had with me. We essentially went through a couple of other, hosts that maybe, great people, but didn't perform as well. And now we finally have that again. So that's another lesson in, pulling yourself out. And I think I could pull myself out from every piece except for being the face was the harder one that maybe we made a couple of mistakes, and now I think we landed on the right person.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. So you've got the success. You want to be an entrepreneur. Why did you go to college?
So that was always just instilled in me, as that's the progression, definitely come from a pretty educated family. And even though they're not necessarily a family of entrepreneurs, they're a family of really valuing, education and striving to become the best version of yourself and growing and, constantly learning. And ultimately with the compromise in my head, and also kind of with my parents and looking at it too, is I wanted to go to a university where I could do both. I could run my business and also go to college and get my degree. And I actually got, accepted and got into some universities that, maybe on paper are a little bit more prestigious or more focused on entrepreneurship. But as I went and looked at them, it was really interesting. Some of the universities, the most known for entrepreneurship, said, oh, well, this is great to get you in, but you're going to really be focused on your classwork. So you won't have a lot of time to run your business. And I'm like, how does this make sense? You're supposed to be an entrepreneurial, college versus at UMass Amherst, where I went to, my alma mater. When I went there in the Eisenberg School of Management, multiple of the people, especially the entrepreneurial advisor there, but multiple of the faculty and students were all very encouraging of actually building your own business while in college. And that's also something that as I became more of a prominent student and ran, the entrepreneurship club at my at that university, I really instilled as well, to people that were thinking of going there, because I think that's one of the things that is a value with going to a school like that has a really strong program, but maybe it's not necessarily going to consume all of your time. And then to look and say, okay, how can I also run my business at the same time? But it was definitely a crazy season. I would stack all my classes, no joke. I'd stack all of my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays once I was able to, after I got past my freshman year, I could kind of do this. I stacked all my classes, and then I would do I would take, a client and, sales calls and stuff like Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. And then I would do kind of all the client work on Saturdays, and then all my, course, classwork on Sundays. I was just in this constant cycle of, I had everything. I eliminated switching costs. It was definitely a crazy season, but it also taught me to really just do the work and make it happen.
Absolutely. No, it's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And it's so wonderful that you did find that fit in the right environment, the right culture that supported that. I want to read a quote. I don't know where I got this, but somewhere online. When you were in college and you were presented with a job offer, if I got it right, I want to read this quote. You said, "I didn't want to be the knight in somebody else's castle. I wanted to be the king of my own," end quote. I love that, because that very beautifully and eloquently expresses that you knew you didn't want to go help somebody else become wealthy, and however you define wealth, you wanted to do it for yourself and your family. Is that fair?
Yes. And that's exactly the case. And I knew what I had was something special. And even if, my castle starts off smaller, I knew that I could build that up over time.
Yeah.
And essentially that came when I was in college. That's when I started to do YouTube ads. So the way that came about is that all these apps doing the promotions. And there was one app that they said, "Hey, can we get more downloads?" And long story short, I said, "Well, what if we do YouTube ads?" And I then, we put like $500 1 week into YouTube ads. We got 11,000 downloads. They're, over the moon, excited about it. And then we, continue to run that promotion. Then we ran another promotion for another company. And it was this performance marketing company that was kind of, now hiring me to do several different promotions. So they were a Silicon Valley company, and they called me up and they say, "Hey, we want you to drop out of college, fly out here, join our team. We're all in our 20s. You'll fit right in. 6-figure, job offer, vested stock, is on the table to discuss." And, we did whatever several rounds of funding. So like we've been funded, we're capitalized, let's go. And that's kind of where that came from. Is it was definitely a very tempting offer, especially it was early on. It was kind of between my freshman and sophomore year of college. But at the same time, I knew that I wanted to be the king of my own castle, even if that started off small, and build it up. And so that's where some of that decision.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great. That took a lot of courage and confidence as well, that you wanted to build your own thing. All right, let's get into more of the details of it. I'd like to begin kind of reset at a higher level here. The question I have for you is, why should small business owners like myself be on YouTube, use YouTube to promote my business? And we'll talk about the different types of businesses that it makes best sense for, but let's assume that I have one of those, and explore YouTube ads. Why?
So YouTube is really this prime opportunity for you to reach people as they're in what I call the learner's mindset, right? If you think about all the different platforms that are out there that are social media platforms, Facebook and, Twitter and TikTok and some of these different platforms, people are kind of scrolling through the feed and consuming content. And yes, you can place ads there, but you have to more interrupt people while they're in this state of just checking in on things, seeing, what are the status updates. There's a very different experience that people have when they go to Google or they go to YouTube. And when they go to Google or YouTube, they're in a learner's mindset. They're trying to research and solve a solution to a problem. Now, on Google, you can have search ads, but the problem is that's not necessarily video. You can't necessarily get in front of them with a video that actually can bring them into your world. And so that's where YouTube comes into play. People are on YouTube for one of two reasons: either to be entertained, and yes, that is a big portion of people, or to learn. And you want to target the people that are there to learn, right? They're trying to figure out, how do I grow my business? How do I, lose weight? What are the best products for this? What's the best tech? What are the best apps, right? All these different things that people are searching for and watching videos on. You can get in front of them and actually reach them while they're in the learner's mindset, and then really provide value in the ad to show how what you do, whether it's services, products, consulting, coaching, whatever it happens to be, what you do is going to solve that problem for them and make it very clear, and maybe even solve a little piece of it inside of the ad. That's when you can really see a lot of success, because you're giving people value, and then you're showing them, okay, here's where to go next to either buy the product, services, or to get the course or the consulting or coaching or whatever it happens to be.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And I've always heard it described, and I think it's an apt description. See what you think. That it's essentially a visual search engine, right? And I find that more and more people are searching there because most of us are visual learners. And so we'd rather get it from a video maybe than reading something. We don't even read pages when we get there. We scan them. So that's how I've heard it described. So now, of course, to get seen, I've got to spend some money, right? And that's where the ads come in.
Exactly. That's where the ads come in, and making sure that you're targeting the right people, right? And actually not only just getting the ad seen, but reaching those people that are in that learner's mindset that are looking for the solutions that you have. And that's the key.
Now, I think that there's two versions of ads. Like I've been using the simple promoting a video that I post to my channel, putting some money behind it and promoting that video. That's one version of what we would call YouTube ads, correct?
Yes. So those are in-feed ads, and formerly known as, discovery ads. And so those types of ads allow you exactly to reach people with your video, so then they can start watching your video and actually start consuming your content, maybe subscribing to your channel. Maybe they'll check out the links, but they're optimized to get viewers and people engaging with your content versus optimizing for conversion. So those are in-feed ads, and those are really powerful to grow your content and your channel. And I'm glad to hear that you're utilizing them as well, because they actually work really well, for people, especially with podcasts, because you could get in front of people that are searching for things, that are watching other videos, and then that pops up in the search results or suggested videos to then start consuming your content. And now all of a sudden they're a subscriber, they're paying attention. It's a really great way to grow your channel and brand.
That's right. Exactly. Now, the more advanced version of it, to use that term, is very similar to what I might run in the way of Google ads, right? But explain that and introduce that, if you would.
Exactly. So those are video action campaigns, also known as in-stream ads. And these are ads that appear in front of videos on YouTube. So people are watching a video and then you run your ad right there. Now, in the past, it was relatively simple. You'd kind of target the keywords or specific videos. Nowadays, it's more algorithm-based and audience-based. So you're reaching people based on what Google knows about them, based on their recent YouTube or Google searches using custom intent. You can even target people based on websites they've been on before. So you're essentially building this profile of who you want to reach, what they've been recently searching, where they've been going, what Google knows about them, and then running your ads in front of those people when they're just watching videos on YouTube. And then you get right in front of those videos. And then you have a call to action, a little CTA button that leads off to your website or wherever you want to bring people off of the ad.
Right. And that's typically the call to action. The conversion is a click that goes to my website or a landing page.
Exactly. That would go to your website, landing page, funnel, whatever the next step would be.
And so if I'm focused on building my YouTube channel, I should continue with what I'm doing with promoting the in-feed promotion of a video. If I'm looking to convert people to bring them to my website, the in-stream ads is probably the better route for me. Is that correct?
Exactly. Growing your channel, growing your audience is going to be great with the in-feed, and then getting actual conversions and people to take action, getting that return on ad spend today. That's going to be best with in-stream and video action campaign ads.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so what you do, tell me then how you help people accomplish one or both of these things.
Absolutely. So what we do is we have a done together process where we're helping our clients implement YouTube ads to scale up and get consistent leads, sales, and in some cases also grow their channel as well, like we talked about with the in-feed ads. Many of our clients, though, do come to us, at least initially, to promote specifically what they're looking to get a return on, right? So they have a service, a product, course, coaching or consulting, whatever it happens to be. And what we're doing is we are helping them set up the right YouTube ads, scripting them out. We've got copywriters on our team that will write out exactly what to say and do. So you need a hook to draw people in. You want to educate, provide value in the ad, right? Show them how you can solve the problem. And then you have a clear and concise call to action at the end that gets them to click off. And so you want to set up the right ad, but then once you have that, you want to target it in front of the right people. And so what we'll do is we'll help our clients identify exactly how to target them through a combination of, what we're able to target on the platform, and also a software that we built, which I can talk about a little bit later as well, keyword search, where you can actually go in and just describe your business and then get different audiences built out using AI that you can just sync to Google Ads and target those people as well. And so essentially you're targeting the right people and then helping them scale and grow. So what we do is we have a done together process where we're helping our clients not only get these campaigns set up and get the ads created and help them launch their campaigns, but also we're training them on how to optimize and scale and run it long term. We found working together gets the best results long term because it's not just us running ads, but it's also not just them trying to figure it out. We're working together and then we're giving them the keys.
And you focus exclusively on the Google platform, Google Ads. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Now we do have omnipresent retargeting that we talk about as well. Okay. So YouTube ads to bring people in, but then once people are there, they spend their time in different platforms. So YouTube is the best place to bring people in because they have intent, right? They're watching videos, they're in the learner's mindset. You can get in front of them at the right time. You can have them opt in or go to your page or wherever it happens to be. But then if they don't purchase or they don't book a call or they don't buy your course or whatever that next step is right away, well, what you can do at that point is then retarget them. And of course, retargeting them on YouTube and also Google search and display, and these other ways to retarget them inside the Google platform. What you could also do is retarget them on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Taboola, Outbrain, like all these different other platforms as well, because these are the people that are interested. Let's retarget them everywhere. So what we talk about with our clients is use YouTube to pull people in and then retarget across platform. And that's typically the strategy that we help our clients implement.
Do you find that most of your clients have put all of their ad spend into Google Ads, or do you help them figure out where it complements across other tactics that they might be using, like regular Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever else they might be doing?
Mm-hmm. So it's actually relatively, it depends based on the business and the size of the business, but it's relatively split in terms of, I would say, probably about half the clients are mostly doing YouTube. And then they have the retargeting, maybe omnipresent retargeting on the back end. Mm-hmm. But then there's probably another half of the clients that YouTube is a piece of what they're doing. Either they're already running Facebook ads that are successful or Google search ads that are successful, and they're adding in YouTube. It typically depends on what their past experience has been. And this is what we advise them to. If they haven't seen a lot of good success on Google or on Facebook, we say, you know what, let's just help you build out YouTube and let's go all in on YouTube and bring people in. If they already have campaigns that are succeeding on other platforms, yes, we set up YouTube and the goal is, and what typically happens is we'll outperform their existing campaigns. That said, if they have campaigns that are already in KPI, then a lot of clients are looking to scale, right? So they want to add YouTube on top of what they're already doing. And so typically those are clients that might be a little bit, that are further along, that might have bigger budgets, they're looking to add in. Whereas clients that might have a little bit tighter budgets, they're going to be going directly into YouTube. Because, as a business owner as well, I do, believe that you shouldn't necessarily long-term put all your eggs in one basket, even if, I'm out here saying, which is true, YouTube ads perform incredibly well. Right. You still want to make sure that you diversify as you scale, because that's going to be the best long-term outlook.
Agreed. So related to that, a lot of my clients have outsourced to a digital agency or an outsourced CMO. Do you, in those situations, then work in conjunction with them? Is that what you find sometimes?
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes our model work so well. And I think is one of the secrets to our ability to scale is we actually work very well with agencies or media buyers or, CMOs or fractional CMOs, because what we can do is we can train whoever it is that's running your ads in our YouTube ad strategy, whether they're on your team internally. If sometimes smaller companies, it might be the entrepreneur or the operator who's running the ads, right? Or it could be they have a media buyer and, whether that's an external media buyer or whatever happens to be there, or an agency, and we can train that media buyer, that agency in YouTube ads. And many, of the agencies these days that are doing YouTube, they've been trained over time with some of our strategies. And so the benefit, though, that clients get of working with us in conjunction to that is they don't just get an agency that knows some of the strategies. They get us helping build out their custom strategy with their media buyer. So that's a question we get too is, well, if you've trained somebody, once, what about having them run the playbook again? And they could do that. And they do that in some cases, but you're not necessarily getting a custom built strategy for you in that case. And so that's where we see even people that have media buyers or people that might have multiple accounts, they'll actually come through. Different clients will hire us with the same media buyer to have us run our process with them as well.
Yeah. Well, plus, you bring the ongoing evolution of knowledge and techniques because it's a moving target to a certain extent. So every time we do a campaign, you can't necessarily apply the same exact approach. You got to evolve, and that's what you guys are on top of.
Exactly. And there were major shifts last year, around this time in October, YouTube shifted over and we'd seen this coming for some time. So especially our active clients, we'd already been prepping and we had all these checklists or here's what we need to do. But they made a shift and it was a little bit earlier than people expected. So we saw it coming, but they made the shift earlier to really focusing on audience-based targeting. Where it's basically Google's algorithm and AI versus in the past, there's a lot of content targeting specific content. And when that happened, not only, did we go and already have all the checklists with our clients, but, I did multiple live webinars with our previous clients and here's what you need to know, here's what you need to change. And from that, obviously we had, many people, hop back in and obviously the existing people, they were already kind of prepped and looking at all the details. And so having your finger on the pulse, I really saw that last year, and our clients really saw that last year. And that's one of the benefits of working with us long term is we see what's coming. And now we're not just building the trainings, we're actually building the software that powers all of this too on the keyword search side.
That's one of the other reasons I always, even if we do have someone in-house, to leverage someone like yourself in a digital agency or whatever, because in-house, we start to become a silo and we don't see what you see across hundreds of clients, right? And that's not our specialty, right? That's not our focus. That's your focus. I mean, I had a client a couple of years ago that back then there was an algorithm change and it pretty much killed his business. His funnel was entirely based on YouTube. And certain things changed that shifted it for him, and it almost killed his business. So that's what can happen, and you want to be able to anticipate that. I see as a consumer all types of Google ads, but do you think there are types of businesses that Google ads are a better fit for?
That's a great question. So I would say it's easier so I'll talk about great fit, and there's different levels of that. What I would say is YouTube ads, they work incredibly well for products and services and coaching and consulting where education is a piece and you have, and any type of paid ads always work better if you have bigger margins to play with, right? And that's just, an element. And that's where I'll get into on the flip side, where there might be some challenges or things to look out for, right? And essentially with your ads, what we see, perform really, really well. We definitely see a lot of online information products, education, expert-based businesses, coaching businesses, consulting businesses. Those perform incredibly well because people are going on YouTube to learn. So they're looking up, okay, how do I do this or how do I do that? And if you have an offer helping people lose weight, or if you have an offer helping people build a business or launch a podcast or whatever it happens to be, those work incredibly well on YouTube. What also works well is, products and services that are a little bit on the higher price point side and or have the more demonstratable ability to teach people how it works, right? And have that kind of big factor to it. So those perform very well. Higher end lead generation works well too. So insurance leads, you have insurance leads, you have roofing, solar, things along those lines, right? Where there's kind of a bigger ticket purchase at the end. And then top real estate agents see strong results here. I do say that in that I think some agents in the past have come and they need to dial in being a real estate agent before doing the ad. Sure. So that's one other thing, and that goes with anything, right? But whereas what I have seen is with the education businesses like coaching and consulting businesses, even beginners come in and they can really take off very, very quickly. That's a little bit less so in the kind of real estate and insurance. You kind of have to have those pieces in place more before ramping those up. And then in terms of it doesn't work as well, that's going to be those lower priced e-commerce products, lower margins, drop shipping,
because
baseline
the
affiliate
cost of a
marketing.
lead, the cost of a conversion is just going to be too high. Is that why?
Yeah, at that point where you have lower margins, it's almost like YouTube is so powerful it can be overkill for some lower priced products, and especially things that are more like, commodities and consumable things that aren't necessarily more of like a change or education based product, right? Something that is more of a basic need. You might have better ability to advertise that on even like an Amazon. But in terms of products that actually have a clear demonstrable value, that's where you're going to see better success. So we even have our own product. Like I've got this like iPhone charging stand, like MagSafe, like charging stand. One of my other companies, Elgear, we just kind of, spun up kind of for fun, to scale like an e-commerce product. And those perform quite well. We do YouTube ads and also Performance Max, which is Google's. It's kind of combination of YouTube and search and shopping and display. It's all in one. And those perform quite well. It just is, again, it's going to depend on different factors with your products and making sure it's something that can actually work well on video. Something like that, it's like snap your phone on it. It's very demonstratable on video. Right. It has enough margin and high enough AOV that you can perform well there. So excellent. Where people run into problems, the lower price products.
Thanks for sharing all that. Those are great insights. I appreciate that. Let me jump to, you've touched it on already, but the three keys, as you say, to an effective YouTube ad. A hook, has to have a good hook. You need to educate, and a strong call to action, which is always the case in any advertisement. Can you give me just quickly an example of a hook that you think is effective? Or I don't care what product it is, but something that comes to mind.
Yeah, I can give you our best performing hook. Best performing hook, and this hook, this one ad has generated over $10 million in revenue. It's pretty remarkable. So it gives a polarizing statement, us versus them. It gives a problem solution and then dives into what the rest of the video is. So you can kind of listen to all that. I'll break it down in a second. So YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. Let's face it, Facebook ad costs are going through the roof. And even when you have great ads, they're almost impossible to scale. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use YouTube ads to scale your business to that next level. Let's hop over to my computer screen and I'll show you exactly how this works.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thanks for sharing that.
You can see all the different pieces of why that would work. Polarizes, brings people in. Problem, the challenges with Facebook. Solution, YouTube ads to get the results. And then an actionable, I'm going to show you how it works. Yeah. That's the process. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. Okay, where I'm always curious as to where do I get started? If I'm doing nothing with YouTube now, nothing with YouTube ads, that's where a lot of the resources that you have come into play. Let's start with the free gift that I can download. Tell me about that and how that'll help me get started.
So I've got a full 19-page YouTube ads PDF. It's the exact same strategy we've used to help generate over the $200 million in YouTube in revenue for our clients. And so it'll walk step by step exactly how to set up your different videos. So how to write your scripts, how to set up your ads, the whole process. There's really no fluff in it. It walks you through step by step. Right. You can go to AdOutreach.com/gift. And I know you'll probably put it in the show notes as well, but that's AdOutreach.com/gift. That's AdOutreach.com/gift. And you can go ahead and get that full 19-page PDF for free. And after that, there's also an opportunity to hop on a strategy call as well, also a complimentary strategy call to help you map out what that strategy can look like for you.
Yeah, I already downloaded it as I was getting ready for this episode. I've already gotten some good tips from it. So it is very actionable, not a bunch of pretty pictures. It gets right down to it. It's text and it's all good stuff laid out very well. What did I not ask you about, Aleric, as it relates to, a small business owner beginning to use Google Ads? What else would you recommend that we think about and consider in addition to what you already shared? Is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you think is a common challenge or common mistake, for example?
So I think on the targeting side, there's a couple of tips that I can give there. And these are also in the PDF, but I want to give a few tips here for anybody who's watching or listening. So on the targeting side, you want to, I highly recommend doing, there's a certain type of targeting called you build these custom audience segments, and there's one called custom intent, where you could target people based on recent Google and YouTube searches. And so that's what they've searched for recently. And you can actually put in the search terms that people are looking up. So if they're trying to figure out, how to do YouTube ads or how to lose weight or how to grow my business or whatever it happens to be, if they're searching those things, then what you can do is you can target people on YouTube that have recently done those searches using custom intent. So that's a really powerful audience that you can set up. And then you can also go in and target based on demographics, right? So there's details as well. And that's not just the zip code and age and things like that. What you can also do is what's called household income. Now, this is actually better than, and I think a lot of people who have run Facebook ads, they've kind of,
but Facebook watered that down, right? I mean, they really took a lot of that away.
Exactly. They took a lot of it away, but that's not the case on YouTube. It works really well. And it's actually more based on the individual. So they have all these data points. They have a really good idea who's in what bracket of household income. And so if you have a higher price, if you sell anything over $1,000, I would always go top 30% and above. If you sell anything over $100, I would remove the lower 50% of household income earners. So remove lower 50%, anything over $100, anything over $1,000, remove the bottom 70, right? Just go top 30. And then if you sell something over $5,000, let's say you're more coaching, service, consulting, high ticket, roofing, whatever it happens to be, then you might want to go top 10%.
Love it. Love it. Love those recommendations. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. All right. What have you not had an opportunity to share about what else you offer your clients through AdOutreach? Is there anything else that you wanted to mention?
Yeah. So of course, we have our done together process where you help hands-on through the entire process there. And what we also have as well is we have our software too. So that's keyword search. And I think you'll have a link in the show notes as well for keyword search. But what keyword search does is it allows you to go in and do AI audience research on exactly who you're targeting with YouTube. So you just describe basic details about your business. You say, hey, here's what my business does. Here's my website. We'll crawl the website. And then we use AI to understand your business and actually give you all of the different targeting options that you can use inside of your audiences. So we'll give you all of the Google search terms and YouTube search terms. We'll give you different interest audiences to target. We'll give you URLs for the URL affinity. We'll give you YouTube videos and channels and apps, all of the different ways to target. You just choose which ones you want, and then you click sync to Google Ads, and you can actually sync those directly over to Google Ads. And in the link that you're going to share, there'll be a 5-day free trial to sign up for keyword search to give that a try as well.
Beautiful, wonderful. I'll have, as you said, a link to all of these resources on the show notes page for this episode at thehowofbusiness.com. In fact, if you look in the description wherever you're listening to this episode, there'll be a direct link to the show notes page to make it easy for you to get there. And then I'll have all of these links there. Great stuff. Thanks for sharing all of this. Thanks for being transparent and giving us actionable information, which is what I love. I'm always looking for a book recommendation. Aleric, is there a book that comes to mind that you would recommend to us?
My favorite book is The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. It is such a fantastic book that talks about playing the long game in business and really focusing on the impact that your business can have. And then when you focus on that, then the money will follow, right? And the growth and success in the business will follow. And that's a big part of our culture here at AdOutreach. Like, we are on a mission to amplify our clients' impact and create a ripple effect on the world. And the way we do this is when we help clients know how to use YouTube ads to get more leads and sales. Yes, that's helping them grow their business. We're growing our business, but at the same time, that's actually them getting their unique products, services, and gifts in front of the right people where they can actually help those people or help those businesses that they serve. And it really creates this positive ripple effect. And I think that's a big piece that I really learned from that book. And it really expanded on, if you're familiar with Simon Sinek and Start With Why, it really expands on that and is a little bit more actionable about how to build a bigger business. They use Apple often in the book as, a case study, but essentially how to build a business that is really why focused, impact driven, and withstands the test of time. And that's what, we're building here at AdOutreach. I think about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, I had our entire team read The Infinite Game, and we've really focused our picture and focus on that.
Wonderful. Thanks for that recommendation. I've not read this book. I've read, of course, Start With Why, but had not read The Infinite Game. So thanks for that recommendation. I'll have a link to that as well on the show notes page at thehowofbusiness.com. Aleric, let's wrap it up. What's one thing you want us to take away as small business owners or aspiring small business owners about using YouTube and specifically YouTube ads to help us grow our business? One takeaway, if you would.
So I think the biggest takeaway is that there is a massive opportunity to reach your ideal clients on YouTube and reach them in a way that they want to learn. So we talked about the visual element, the auditory element. Sound is on, video is on, you're reaching in front of people, you can target the right people. And the key is if you distill advertising down to its basic principles, you want to reach the right person at the right time with the right message. And that's the key. And so you could target the right person. You can reach them at the right time when they have intent because they're in the learner's mindset. And with the right message, what you're able to do is actually provide value on a video, get in front of them in a visual way that gets them to take action. You have all three of those things on YouTube, and that's the key, reaching the right person, the right time with the right message. And that will drive the conversions and help you grow and scale your business.
Yeah, great points. Thanks for sharing that in. And there are other platforms where really it's interruption marketing. Mm-hmm. Here, we're putting the right thing in front of the right person who's searching for learning about a particular subject. And that ability to fine tune it, I think, is what makes it so effective. Yeah.
Exactly.
Where would you want us to go online again to learn more?
Absolutely. So AdOutreach.com/gift is going to be the best place. So that's AdOutreach, AdOutreach.com/gift. I've got that free 19-page PDF, step-by-step, no fluff. It really dives into exactly how it works. And then feel free on the back of that, you'll be able to book a call with our team to map out, how you can actually build this strategy for yourself.
Excellent. Aleric, thank you for taking the time to share inspirational as well as a lot of knowledge shared. Thanks for being with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, Henry.
Absolutely. This is Henry Lopez. Thanks for joining us for this episode of The How of Business. I release new episodes every Monday morning, and you can find the show anywhere you listen to podcasts, including my YouTube channel and my website, thehowofbusiness.com. My guest today again was Aleric Heck. Thanks again, Aleric, and thanks to all of you for listening.
Thank you for listening to The How of Business. For more information about our coaching programs, online courses, show notes pages, links, and other resources, please visit thehowofbusiness.com.